Ropp Star Gang, Panther Nation, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone that's already in here joining the live stream. We already got some people in the chat. We got a special guest today. We got Mr. J Issue in the house. J Issue, how are you doing today, my friend?
What up? What up? Feeling pretty good.
So I appreciate you joining when we've been talking about doing a nice little collab here. So we have got a great show for you guys today. We're going to break down a lot of stuff today. We got a lot to talk about. And Jay Issue came in with me with some ideas, and I think it's gonna be a good show. I think it's gonna be a good one. I think people are gonna love this show today. Before we get into today's live stream and all the recaps that we're gonna be breaking down today, make sure the first thing you do is you pound the like button here. You go over to J Issues, you do the same thing. You also go over to J Issues, and if you're a subscriber of mine, you go over there and you subscribe to his channel. Okay. That's the best thing that you can do. You can pound the like button and subscribe. That's the best thing you can do. It's all free. It's one click away, and that's it. It's simple, easy as that. All right. So first things first. We got a couple things to talk about, and we're gonna bring up some news first. First news. All right, we're gonna bring up some Panther news, and the first news that I want to bring up here, Jay, is that there is a lot going on right now with some health issues that are impacting this preparation for this game on Sunday. There's a lot of notable players that are affected due to some illnesses, and I don't know what's going on around in that locker room. I don't know if dudes are kissing each other, catching mono, what's going on. But, there's some issues going on in there, no pun intended. But again, we got some guys like Brian Burns, YGM, Marquise Haynes, and others that are kind of dealing with some issues. I'm not really sure what the lowdown is on that. I don't know if you've seen anything on that, Jay, but any insight on that?
No, I'll have to get it from you.
Okay.
I walked off from the team.
Yeah, I'm on ESPN right now looking at the injury report. It looks like right now it says some illnesses, but I don't see anything crazy today. It says right now Ian Thomas was limited participation in practice on Wednesday with an ankle. I'm not too worried about him. Sounds like Tommy Trimble was limited on Wednesday's practice due to some illness. But then it says YGM, Marquise Haynes, and Sam Franklin are all questionable as well. Not sure as to why. And then it's got Brian Burns says ankle, did not practice Wednesday as well. And Jackson on his back did not practice Wednesday. And then it says Claudin Chirlius knee was designated to return from injury reserved on Wednesday. So we'll see. It looks like everybody's just questionable. I have a feeling that maybe this is just not, really much of anything. Doesn't look like it's going to be too much, everyone. So, we'll see how it goes. But again, we never know, especially with this stuff. Just some other quick news, real quick, to dive in here, real quick. Eddie Tenure is getting a lot of recognition. Getting the NFC Special Players of the Week honors. Hitting that game-winning kick, was 3 for 3 in field goal attempts that day. Thank God for Eddie Tenure. What do you think on that, Jay?
The second game, he gave us a dub.
Yeah.
Ain't much to say about it.
All right. And some other things. Bryce Young's been talking about recently about his impact and growing mobility. Obviously, that crucial late game performance in Week 15. We noticed a little bit of his mobility in that game, displaying some of that. It was funny in his press conference, he was crediting his basketball background for some of his agile moves. Acknowledging the need for improvement. Obviously we all are talking about that. We've all been talking about how he needs to improve, and not just, his footwork and decision making and all that, but it's kind of an all around ordeal here. The critics have been obviously prematurely dismiss him as a bust. I kind of, some of us like myself, it's 50-50. I think Jay, I'm not sure how Jay feels, but what do you think? What do you think about his recent press conference talking about all that stuff?
I can't call him a bust as of right now. I got to give him a fair shot and look at this roster and how this roster is fit for him. I mean, we just grabbed a quarterback, threw him in there, just wish he did whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that. I think I've been on that as well. Just saying, I'm 50-50 on it. Let's see what the kid's got. We gave away the mortgage for him. Let's give the kid a fair chance. I'm also in that as well. But of course, there are his own issues that he needs to work on, right? I mean, we all agree on that. Stepping into his throws, dropping back too far, his foot being on his tippy toes. There's a lot of things that he can maneuver, and only time will tell as we go on throughout the rest of 2024. 2024, if we rebuild this roster correctly, then we might see what he got. But if he pans out, great. If he doesn't, then it proves that he is a bust. But we got to stop overhyping some of these wins. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that we have right now. I mean, in my opinion, I just don't think that there's any reason for us to be all excited about him, all excited about us winning our second game of the season. And last but not least, in some other news, we're going to be talking about it. The uncertainty future of Scott Fitterer. There has been a lot of talk about that, and me and Jay are going to analyze that today. Analyze what this guy really has done. And The Athletic came out with a great article, and that's what really brought me this idea today of assessing Scott Fitterer's time here. So we're going to break that down today, but there's a lot of scrutiny under this man right now, and hopefully to reset that under new leadership. And me and Jay are going to break that down today. But the first thing that we're going to talk about today is this. We're going to talk about, let's just take a nice little recap. Let's look at this, at the schedule so far. And Jay, where do you want to start off at? You want to start off the stats? You want to look at the schedule first? What do we want to go with first here?
We can run down the schedule.
All right, let's run down the schedule. All right, let's pull it up. I got it here. All right, so recap. So we're already going to do a recap. And it already kind of gives us the some of the stats here already. But all right, first, this is what the schedule has been so far. This is the last 3 games down here. So first game up, the Atlanta game. Let's start with that, Jay. Give me your thoughts on that.
It was a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah.
We had the run game a lot. We had more yards on the run, but we went away from it. Lack on offense, like it's always. But Bryce is a rookie, so we got to give him some type of space and let him develop Um, they already said he was years ahead of his time. That was reaching. Um, it just sucks we didn't come out with the win, but it's room to grow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that first game of the season, I didn't expect Bryce or with a rookie quarterback to go out there and get the win. I expected him to just show glimpses of what we saw from him in Alabama, right? Um, and that's all I wanted. And unfortunately, we saw two turnovers that turned into scoring drives for this team. And then, it is what it is. We run away from the run game. I mean, this offensive line is built, for a run scheme. Uh, you know,
Quarterback.
yeah, and it's also with the fact with the halfbacks that we have, it wasn't working. It wasn't working with Miles Sanders and with Chuba Hubbard. It's been lights out with him. He's been 10 times better than Sanders has been. But if we look at the New Orleans game, obviously we're home for New Orleans, and this was the game that I felt like Bryce could had it really had a chance to really kind of shine. Being at home, first home game of the season, really was hoping to see him kind of have that, not necessarily a breakout, but really kind of come into his own. And normally that's what I feel like after 2 or 3 games, normally that these guys like that start kind of getting the feel of it. And we really didn't get to see that. I felt like, again, the coaching, we all know that, right? I mean, we all know that was the biggest issue. The play calling was vanilla. It was atrocious. It's been atrocious all year long. I mean, give me your thoughts on that.
We talking about the full season, or are we moving to week 2?
Well, I mean, we can go through, if you want to go week by week, we can. What you want to do?
Uh, I didn't like the Avengers to begin with, but
Okay.
um, I don't feel no way about it because I didn't like it anyways. I felt he
Right.
was at desperation and trying to
Mhm.
please the fans. Just like
Mhm.
when he traded away CMC, he was hearing the fans and how they felt about the offense was running through CMC. So he felt like if I pick up the first quarterback that played for the Panthers, I would get a pass of me hiring Matt Rule, but none of that didn't work. How dude on the offense didn't want to get with the play calling. It was just sad to see him continue.
Right. Right. I mean, we all know that this offensive line is again, we all know that the scheme, like I've said it before and I'll say it again. Styles wins fights, right? This is in the UFC, and we see that time and time again in the UFC. But it's the same thing in the NFL. Certain schemes fit certain players, and the schemes was just not work. It has not worked here for these players. We know that this offensive line was built for run first offense, and that's what it is. And we chose to choose. We chose to not re-sign Deontay Foreman and went with Miles Sanders, and that has backfired on us big time. And so then now Chuba has to step up, and Chuba's not that far away. I think I saw a stat the other day. If he, in the next 3 games, he only needs around 200 and something yards the next 3 games to reach his 1,000 yard mark. So, again, I think that's at the first we were seeing that this offensive line is not a great passing protecting offensive line. That's why we're second in the NFL to the fact that, this is where we are, because not only was the play calling bad, the scheme wasn't fitting, but again, the adequate of players were not adequately the right ones that our GM chose to draft, chose to bring here. And obviously we're going to dive more into Scott Fitterer, and we're going to dive into more of that whole ordeal. But again, if we're talking about this whole season recap, which is what we're breaking down right now, this is where we're at right now. This is the reason why we're where we are. So we'll dive into more on Scott and all the bad trades and all the good trades and I guess you could say the undetermined I guess I would say acquisitions that we got. So, we'll dive more into that, here shortly. Let's see here. So, if we look at the stats right now, since we just did we're 2-12. We were just breaking down, the game, the season recap. Now we look at the stats. You got Bryce here, 2,300 yards. I predicted him to be around 3,200, 3,300 at the beginning of the season. I didn't really predict anybody else's stats here. If we're looking at it from the rushing standpoint, the receiving standpoint, I really didn't predict, any of these guys what I thought. So I mean, based off these stats, let's look at Bryce first because that's the biggest one, right? He's averaging yards per game. It's 181.5, 9 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, a rating of a 72.2, sacked 51 times, and he's got a 59.4 completion. The biggest thing that I'm looking at, though, is the sacks. He was sacked 51 times. Jay, give me your thoughts on the statistics of Bryce Young so far.
We were ranked pretty high last year offensively. Not due to points or yards, but that offensive line was coming together. And I feel like this would have happened to Bryce regardless because that offense was never fit for him. It was fit for a mobile quarterback that can get out the pocket and extend plays. Yeah. Bryce, he can do that, but I think Frank Reich was in his head way too much early in the season, and he just wasn't the right coach for him.
Yeah.
51 sacks. Damn. I mean, there's times where he have time in the pocket and he held on to the ball. So you can't technically, it's kind of 50-50 with the offensive line and then put it on Bryce as well.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's times where players is open downfield and he don't throw it downfield because he can't see over that offensive line majority of the time. Look at him at Alabama, he would run around and create like time in the pocket because he was running around. So since he couldn't do that with our offensive line, I'm not surprised that he was sacked 51 times.
Yeah. Jay, we got a viewer here asking you a question here. Rock Jones saying, Jay, your thoughts on Young's potential moving forward?
We'll probably have to dive deep into that probably later, like probably in another video, honestly, because that's something you can't just predict. You got to actually dive into it and know what weapon would fit him.
But I mean, I feel you on that. No, absolutely. I feel you on that. That is a topic that we could talk about this whole show.
Yeah.
I mean, we could literally make a whole show about that, Rock. I mean, seriously. And to what Jay was saying, like he was saying, what players fit Bryce? It's like you look at the draft, right? And then you look at the free agents that are going to be coming out. Who is going to, be that guy, right? Is it T. Higgins? I don't know. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. I'm a big believer in what the Miami scheme they're running over there. I think that speed is winning in the NFL now. We're seeing it with the wide receivers. It gets those guys get open so much quicker than any other wide receiver group in the NFL. And it's easy to get the ball out and it moves the ball forward so much quickly and it gets the ball out of your guys' hands, especially when you got an offensive line like ours. I think that would be one key there.
It's a must to get speed on that field for him.
Yeah.
I mean, the Miami Dolphins, their offensive line, I don't believe was ranked top 10 last year. So with him getting the ball out quick and having speed and have pretty much the offense, like their offensive coordinator is calling plays that fits his receivers. So not just getting it out of his hands quick, but you need an offensive coordinator that understands his players and how much protection his quarterback actually has. So that'll be another video, but as of right now, we don't have the weapons for Bryce.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. So just a little recap there. I mean, we just did a quick little season recap. I mean, we're looking at this. Chuba's not that far away, guys. I mean, he's right there at 731. If he gets 200 and looks like 69, I would say. Yeah, 269 yards the next 3 games. He'll break 1,000 mark, and I hope he does reach there. I hope he does reach there. So again, the season, it's 2-12. It's been basically what me and Jay been breaking down. It comes down to the fact that Bryce has to fix his issues and get better, getting the ball out quickly, finding the right guys that are getting open, right? And Jay just said it. It's not, again, and I've said this too on the channel. It's not just that these wide receivers aren't getting open, because we have seen games where they are, and we've breaking game film down on this channel, and there is times that wide receivers are getting open and he's holding on to the ball too long, which is called a conversion of these sacks, but also him going too far outside the pocket as well. And the reason why he's doing that is because he can't see over the line. But again, there's also other issues, him not stepping into his throws, being too much on his tippy toes, and the deep ball accuracy and all that. So there's a lot of things that he can fix mechanically, and we will see. And we will see. But other than that, let's also talk about, because another thing we wanted to break down, me and Jay were talking about wanting to break down today in today's show. We were getting some stuff together, and really it's this topic right here. So we're gonna let me unshare this, and we'll just get us two up here. And the topic is here, guys. I mean, y'all can sound off in the comments. Of course, guys, make sure you pound the like button as you're coming in over. If you're watching on Jay's show, also make sure you pound the like button over there. And make sure you go over there and subscribe. Jay, is Tepper's short temper for success a problem?
For me, it is. I mean, he's forcing money to fix his problems, and that'll never get his situation fixed or handled correctly. Everyone in Carolina, not just him forcing people to come to play or coach in Carolina, has disliked him. He's done so much negative in Carolina that it's impossible to fix his mistakes. He don't apologize much, and our short temper, he gotta drop the bank every time he want a coach or a player to come to Carolina just to force him to be in Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the issue, right? I mean, the biggest that's an issue, but it's also the fact of him meddling within football operations, right? I mean, money talks, right? He's got the money. There's no doubt about that. Again, it comes down to the fact that, like, who wants to come here to a guy that has a short temper that is just going to be like, well, you only won me 3 games this season. All right, you're out. And I think with this whole situation, it comes down to the fact not only Frank Reich and the GM, everything has always starts from the top in the NFL. It always starts from your owner hiring the right GM, the right head coach, right? Well, normally it should be, but in our situation, it's been him hiring them too, right? The GM is not the guy who's hiring the head coach, which normally is. It's normally, okay, hey, I'm going to hire this GM as an owner. I'm going to get the GM, and then I'm going to let the GM pick the guy he wants to come in and bring in, and that who are on the same page as I am and sees and knows what he wants to do the future here. So it starts from there, right? And so again, I feel like that there's a lot of on and off field drama that we've been seeing, we've been hearing all season. The press conference, the only thing we got from that, right, from the Frank firing press conference was it had nothing to do with why he fired him. It had to do more of like, oh, well, look at me, I'm a billionaire owner. I brought Beyonce here. Oh, I brought Lionel Messi here. I brought the economics up, right? So it was more of him just stroking his ego at the end of the day. And then when the tough questions got on, he just basically not necessarily pushed them to the side, but worked his way around it and bullshitted his way around it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ridiculous. That's where we're at. I mean, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous that we're having to sit here and deal with an owner that is meddling within football operations that can't that hell he was even telling Frank Reich, this is one thing that I think that sealed his fate, Jay, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but this is one thing that I think that really sealed Frank Reich's fate. He wasn't willing to work on his footwork. Coaches were texting David Tepper to tell him to work on Bryce's footwork. And then, so you got these coaches who are snitching on Frank Reich behind his back. And then on top of that, you've got, he won't change the scheme. He won't do, and then on top of that, he won't change the scheme to benefit Bryce either. So how is a young rookie quarterback supposed to develop when the own head coach, who's the one who's supposed to be who is supposedly a quarterback development head coach, which is that what Frank Reich is? How is a rookie supposed to get better?
I really don't know. I mean, it's sad that Carolina has become a daycare. It's so much childish acts going on in the stadium. Not even the stadium, just front office. Nobody can get right. It just feels like a high school at this point. Almost like we're watching a high school operation going on in Carolina. If I don't know how Bryce handling it, but I'll damn near go home every day crying.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll probably soak it up with my money that I'm making from the team. But it's crazy. So much chaos and everybody not on the same page. And I mean, Frank was forced in that position. So it's kind of like if he knew that he didn't have no say so on which quarterback he was going to grab for himself and what he desired, I would never took the job.
Right.
I get you're the first quarterback to play for the Panthers, but that doesn't mean take this job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that it was also like almost like Frank was pouting because he didn't get what he wanted. Right. It was just like almost like he was pouting and being one of those, and it's kind of funny. You're kind of right with the whole high school thing. It's kind of like these guys were not getting good grades and they weren't, it's like, like in high school, when you're playing ball and if you don't get a C in the class, right, you don't play. It's like kind of like almost in those drama kind of things. Like you don't practice, you don't play. There was like, it kind of seemed like that with some of the players. And then it was just so much turmoil, so much drama, so much turmoil. I guess that analogy probably wasn't the best one, but I was trying to kind of go off your high school thing, but it does make me think of like how it could be like that. But yeah, no, definitely Tepper's short temper is definitely going to be one of the biggest issues that we're going to have when it comes to finding that head coach that we want. But I think it's also going to meddle with when he fires Scott Fitterer, what GM is going to want to come here and be also in that position as well when a guy is telling you who to draft, who to sign, and then a head coach that's saying, well, this is the quarterback you're going to use because that's who I want here because his name is big, right? I mean, that's basically it, right? So again, it's ridiculous at the end of the day. I mean, we are in I don't think I've ever seen us in so much turmoil as an organization than any other organization. Like we could talk about the time the Browns were bad. We can talk about the time as the the Jets were bad. We could look at all those times when Miami back in the day, a couple years ago when they were having all that, and then they let Brian Flores go. There's a lot going on with those organizations, but I've never heard of an organization where the on and off drama, where owners meddling in football operations, and then your coaching staff, the Avengers, as Jay likes to call them, the Avengers are texting and snitching on the head coach. Like I just never. I mean,
man.
I mean, can you tell me you've ever heard of that from any other organization? I mean, like we've
I've
heard drug
never
problems in Miami, right?
claimed. I've never seen this happen in an organization. Not even gonna lie to you. This is mess. It's like a bunch of females, they get ready to go to the club, and something happened at the club with another female, but another one bring it up to. It's messy. It's Tepper. So my question for you, Clay, is what should Tepper do next? Because the right thing is to hire your GM, and the GM hires his head coach. What I mean, he already has his eyes on the head coach right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's no GMs right now that we know of that have gotten fired besides the one in LA, at least that I know of. I don't know if the one in Vegas got fired too with Josh McDaniels, but I'm not too sure about that. I just know that what Tepper needs to do is that he needs to sit back, sit down in his office. And he's going to probably have to hire the head coach before the GM in this situation because you've got guys, because we know in Washington, right? Riverboat Ron's going to be gone. Eric Bieniemy's there. Is Eric Bieniemy going to be contestant number one there? I'm going to say yes because he's already there. Look what he's done with Sam Howell. That was a guy that we passed up. That's something we'll get into with the whole Scott Fitterer thing too. But he passed up on Sam Howell. Look what Eric Bieniemy's been able to do with Sam Howell. But look how bad Kansas City is now without Eric Bieniemy. They've been struggling. So if I am David Tepper, I'm hammering Eric Bieniemy's phone. I'm hammering Ben Johnson's phone. I'm hammering these coaches that are looking for head coaching jobs, like maybe Brian Johnson up there in Philly, or maybe you go a defensive minded guy like Dan Quinn. I'm not a fan of him. I'm just throwing names out there, right? Todd Monken, over there. So you're gonna have to hammer these guys' phone lines and these guys' agents first, because these guys are going to go first before the GM is, because I haven't seen any other firings of GMs right now, right? But the Chargers, yes, the Chargers GM did get fired, Marcos. I see you in the chat. He got fired the same time Brandon Staley got fired. So it comes down to the fact that you're going to have to sit down with these coaches and say, hey, I'm going to let you run the show, and I got to take a seat back. I have to sit back, and I have to let y'all do the football operations. I have to let the football nerds be the football nerds. But is that going to happen? I'm not holding my breath, because we know who David Tepper is. Why would he stop doing what he's doing now? I don't know. But if I'm David Tepper, I got to say to myself, listen, I got to take a step back. I fucked things up, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go hire Ben Johnson, and I got to get him, or I got to go get Bobby Slowick, whoever. Again, Evero is also going to be a guy that we've got to look out for, because is Evero going to stay here? And because I know people are going to be hammering us or hammering his agent to say, hey, is he interested in a head coaching job?
I don't believe that David Tepper genuinely apologized. After he fired Frank Reich, I was somewhat I watched the whole thing, I ain't gonna lie. I was looking for certain ways or certain words for him to say for me to believe that he actually apologized and how he's been handling the team so far. And I didn't get that. He's smirking throughout the whole damn interview. He's dodging questions. He already have his eyes on Ben Johnson. Dude, leave that up to the general manager. You continue to just handpick certain things that you want the team to have, but you don't necessarily have a vision. That's what I have a problem with. Like you continue to spend money on the Avengers because you feel like they won Super Bowls with other teams and they've been successful, but I haven't seen nobody broke down, have this and this coach ran the same system, or do it even match with what we have on roster. So I don't believe that Scott genuinely apologized. Not Scott, but David Tepper.
Yeah.
I continue to believe that he don't know what the hell he's doing. He's going to continue that till nobody wants to work with him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's like, I agree. I mean, I agree with you. if he can get a GM first and that GM can persuade that guy like Ben Johnson or whoever to say, hey, I'm taking the Panthers GM job. Can you hold off on if there's some kind of talk somehow, some way that can work out to where it all comes together? Because just like what MDJ said here in the chat, it's like, if you can have that GM and coach come on board, actively come together, like he's saying, which is what I would want, again, we've always done ever since Tepper's been here, he's done things ass backwards, and so is he going to be able to get these guys like a GM and a head coach at the same time? Because we know as soon as this season's over with and these other guys are done coaching for the season, whether the Detroit Lions or Philly or the Texans or whoever it is that makes the playoffs, whoever goes on to the Super Bowl, when do but you have to start now. But again, is he going to be able to time it out correctly and decisively is the question.
I don't believe so. I mean, David Tepper shows his cards pretty early. He showed he was desperate for a quarterback. He was desperate for a head coach. He even put up more money just to get Matt Rule. That was the first mistake he did, was showing his cards early.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was a quarterback issue. Cam ego was too big, but you need that for the culture of the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton he was a heartbeat of the Panthers. Y'all just get rid of him and let Matt Rule do as he pleased, and he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He kept just throwing contracts at players that didn't even play, put on a Panthers uniform and play for a season. Like, why would you pick up the 5th-year option for Sam Darnold when he didn't even play one snap in the game?
Mm-hmm.
Question marks. And then you say that you thirsty for a quarterback, and then you jump up from 9 to 1. It's just a lot that he's doing, that he shows his cards way too early. Teams know he thirsty, so they're gonna force him to give whatever they can get out of his ass, and that's horrible in itself. To even think as a fan, like, man, we never jumped up in the draft. Now we do it, but we're doing it in a thirsty, desperate way, and it's not healthy for the team. It's not healthy for the future. He wants what he wants, but it's no vision. That's what bothers me. If we had a vision and he draft towards it, then I will understand his moves. But I'm confused. I'm disappointed, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, as a Panthers fan, I'm confused too. It's like, what is right from wrong at this point? What is right from wrong at this point? Because I can sit here and give you all suggestions. I can give you, hey, we should go out and get this guy. We should sign this guy in free agency. We should get this next head coach. We should get this next GM. But again, at the end of the day, I have no power over that. I can give you my thoughts. I can break it down for you guys. Same thing the way that the way Jay and I are doing it. We can do that. But again, at the end of the day, there's only one person that holds all the cards in their hand, and that is David Tepper. So we'll see what happens. There's a lot of candidates out there. There's a lot of good candidates out there that we can look at from a GM standpoint, from a head coaching standpoint. It all just comes down to getting it done decisively and in a timely manner. Guys, as you're coming in, make sure you pound that like button. Make sure you go over to Jay Issues and do the same thing. Make sure you go over to his channel and make sure you're pounding that like button too as well. It goes a long way. It helps the algorithm get out there to people that may not know about our shows. And we're growing like weeds over here. Let's help Jay grow like weeds as well. All right. So make sure you go over there and subscribe as well. And I've also dropped his channel link into the description of this live stream. So you can just click on it. It'll take you right to it. So, all right. Now we got another topic for you guys. And this one's a good one. This one is a good one. Who out of the Avengers coaching staff deserves their flowers? Jay, you lead the way.
Do any of the Avengers deserve any flowers? I didn't like any of them, but I will give Evero his flowers. I mean, I continue to say what we have on this roster, but injuries do play a part. So I got to give him his flowers. He got the defense very high. They're not in the 20s. They're like they're under the 20s. So
You're top 3
Evero
right
is
now
who
in
I would
yards
give
per
flowers
game.
to. Damn, that's pretty
Yep.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I have to give anybody's flowers, the first person I'm handing a flower to is flowers to is definitely Evero. I mean, you know, it's insane what this guy has done with our defense. With not only got like losing Shaq Thompson, right, and then you know Justin Houston. It is what it is with him. I wasn't too high on signing him. I was we definitely needed some pass rushing help, but YGM actually really stepped up. I thought that he has done very, very well from that standpoint. And I think that he learned a lot from Evero. I think the style of the scheme that they were running there fit Burns and honestly I felt like it fit Burns and YGM better. And he's just been able to adapt with Sam Franklin. Sam Franklin's had a couple good games this season, and he's taken some of these practice squad players like Deshaun Jameson that game against the Vikings. I mean, he basically shut down Jay Jettis a couple times. So I mean, if I'm handing any flowers, it's definitely to him. I guess I could hand it over to Chris Tabor, but again, he's one of those guys I think was one of the snitches. Again, there's just with the on and off field issues, it was just it's too much for this coaching staff. Again, we all know that it was too many cooks in the kitchen. Again, but I think the only one out of this coaching staff that
Yeah.
truly deserves his roses is definitely Evero. You know, and if I'm missing anybody else, someone let me know. But I mean, out of this coaching staff, that's all I can really say because it wasn't Thomas Brown. I mean, it wasn't Thomas Brown because I mean, Thomas Brown, I think should have stayed in LA after what I've seen from him. I think he should have stayed in LA behind Sean McVay another year and learn. But he also kind of got the short end of a stick too with certain things, getting the play calling, then taking it back from him. And then I was thinking maybe Jim Caldwell, his background, thinking that maybe he would be able to, bring in some insight and bring in some of that veteran status that he's got, and knowing who he is as a coach. Yeah, I mean, the only person I really could give to in this situation their flowers is definitely Evero, in my opinion. So,
Sir.
yep. All right, let's move on next to the next topic. Let's move on to the next topic, and that is who deserves a Pro Bowl for the Carolina Panthers. Jay, who is on your list?
Nobody. Nobody. I mean, Derek Brown, he shows up here and there, but it's not consistent. I mean, he's his position is not to really stop the run, but he does it. Uh, I love Derek Brown, but I don't see it every week. He's not actually like dominating. So for me, nobody, respectfully.
I got you. I understand. I mean, I feel you. I mean, for me, if I'm having to go, I mean, I kind of disagree with you with the Derek Brown thing. It's not by much, but again, I would say that I feel like Derek Brown has always been one of those guys that is not. He's a disruptor. He is not a
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
that's going to give you
penetrate.
right. Yeah, he's not a guy that's going to give you the major big stats. He's not going to give you the 12, 15, 16 Bosa stats, right? He's not going to give you those kinds of stats. He'll get you 5, 6 sacks a game, but he's going to be that guy that helps Brian Burns get that 15 to 16 sacks, right? But for me, I would have to say Derek Brown because he has just done so well against the run this season. He's definitely stepped it up in there, bringing the pressure. And I feel like Nick Thurman on the inside with him definitely has helped out a lot. He has stepped up and has done well in the interior. I think Derek Brown, though, does deserve his flowers in that aspect of going to the Pro Bowl. I would say Frankie Louvu has done very well the way he plays sideline to sideline ball, and he's all over the place. And he just plays that guy only knows one speed, and it's fast. And, so I would have to go Luvu. And then other than that, if Chuba gets 1,000 yards, I could see it. But if Chuba doesn't, then but other than that, the only two for me is definitely Luvu and Brown for sure. Luvu and Brown for sure. Yeah. All right. This one's a little bit of a deeper topic. And we're really going to get into, and then the next one is really where we're going to be on this topic for a little bit of a hot minute. But this next one, players that the Panthers could target to put asses in seats. That is what we're going to talk about next. Whether it's a wide receiver, whether it's a tight end, if it's another edge rusher, or whether it's, there's so many scenarios in this situation that we can go with, right? Through free agency, through also the draft. So is there any players in mind that you have, Jay, that you think that could not only bring asses to seats here, but obviously help and bolster up this team?
Winning, a fat W. Are you able to pull up free agency?
Sure can. So if we look at the free agency for 2024. All right. So these are the guys that will be available in 2024 in free agency. So let's pull it up here. And then I can pull up some draft guys as well if we want to do that as well. So these are the top 100 players in free agency. All right. Obviously, Chris Jones is one of the guys. I mean, obviously, we would all love to have Chris Jones, but that guy's wanting a $33 million contract kind of ordeal. Is Chris Jones an interior defensive lineman that we want? Sure. But again, is he worth the money? I mean, yeah, I think he definitely is. But look at it. This is what his contract is really. They're projecting his contract to be like 4 years, 120 million. So it's a 30 million per year. This is basically the contract that Brian Burns wants right here. Right? For edge, for him. So obviously I'm passing on him. I'm passing on Kirk Cousins because, that is what it is. All right. So we got Josh Allen, edge rusher. Again, I think that comes down to the fact that Josh Allen's in the same situation that Brian Burns is in. Okay. He's basically looking for that contract, but right now PFF has him as a franchise tag. That they are going to franchise tag him, which means that they could end up franchising tagging him and he could just play on that, which maybe he would. Or again, they franchise tag him and they trade him, kind of like what we might be trying to do here with Burns. So I would pass on that as well. But here's that name that's been thrown around right here, Mr. T. Higgins.
No, sir.
No, sir. So we're passing on T. Higgins. All right. I'm open to it. I'm open to the T. Higgins, but again, I don't think it's going to fit what we're really going to need to try to do, what we really need to try to do with this offense. Next up, we got Burns. We don't even really need to talk about that because again, it's going to either come down to the fact that again, like we were just talking about kind of with the Josh Allen ordeal, it's either they're going to trade it, they're either going to tag him and trade him, or they're going to sign him. It's going to be one or the other. But again, we don't have a first round pick. All right. So we got Justin Matabuki. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I probably botched the shit out of that. Yeah. I would say pass on that because it's a defensive line. Anything Christian Wilkins.
I'll pass.
Yeah, Christian Wilkins, I'll pass. Antoine Winfield would love to have him here, but again, we've got Bell and Xavier Woods. Jalen Johnson is interesting to me because here's the reason why I say Jalen Johnson's interesting because again, we all need to remember, chat, and I just want y'all to understand this. Dante Jackson net contract next year is going to eat our cap up of $15.8 million. So if we're going to be smart with trading anybody, obviously it needs to be Dante Jackson, because that way we can open up the cap room for 15.8 million. And then another thing that people don't realize is that the dead cap that got hit this year, there is only 1.8 million in dead cap that's hitting in 2024. So again, we're not going to have too much. So far, there's really not much going on here. So we got Michael Pittman. Is that we all definitely want to look at the wide receivers, because that's one of the biggest issues we have on this team, right? So yeah, I mean, Pittman, I, I'm not a fan. I just don't think it would be a fit for what style of offense here. I mean, again, it depends who our coordinator is. Daniel Hunter, I thought, was going to be someone we could actually end up targeting this year, and we were going to sign, but that didn't happen. Mike Evans, again, this guy's looking for a big contract. Again, he's already taken it. They're projecting his contract to be 3 years, 69 million. So it would be a 23 million per year contract, 52.5 million in guarantee. Is that a pass for you, Jay? Is Mike Evans a pass for you?
Huh? No, I want Mike Evans. He will definitely help Bryce mid in the deep ball. So I would love him, honestly. I mean, we don't who are we trying to pay right now?
Right.
Burns, since we ain't trade him. Right. I was ready to get off him, I'm not gonna lie. But since he's our only pass rush, Burns, Brown. I like Chin, but I'm not throwing him no 15 a year. Who else? Jackson needs to go, but if we cut him or try to trade him, we're gonna be in dead cap anyways, because that's how we got off CMC and DJ. We're still paying them; they're not even on the team, so that's the only way we're gonna move off DJ, is if we're going to keep some on our books and let them play for extra money elsewhere. So Mike Evans, I would like him as a weapon for Bryce. Rock Jones, Evans over Higgins, yes.
Like it, I get it. It's just the age that is killing. Yeah, I definitely take Evans over Higgins too. But again, it is hard for me to not forget how old he is. But I wouldn't be mad about it. So we got Tyron Smith, tackle. I mean, again, we could go after a guy like Tyron Smith. But I'd rather not. I'd rather get some fresh legs on that offensive line. Kendall Fuller, no, I'm not a fan. Leonard Williams would be great. Now, this is a guy right here that I like. I want Marquise Brown.
I do too, but looking at him with the Cardinals, I don't know what Kyler or the quarterback that was in before him, they just ignore him, just like Josh Allen ignores Gabe Davis. I like Gabe Davis, so
yeah, I would love to get him. And he would be cheap because he would be a speedy guy that, we were just talking about it, man. We were just talking about what we want to bring here, right? We want to bring speed. Now, again, Mike Evans, he brings the route running, the deep threat, the guy that you could just feel comfortable throwing it up to him and letting him go up and get it, right? But Marquise Brown, you put him in the slot, right? Because we're probably going to end up moving on from Thielen anyways. You bring in Marquise Brown, a guy who has a 4.3 speed. You bring him in, you throw him in the slot correctly, and then you put Mingo on the outside. I mean, there's your wide receiver group right there. Again, though, this draft is full of young wide receiver talent. So, again, wide receivers is a thing that we could definitely get. Free agency wise, like if we're looking at this too, like we obviously need to look at the offensive line. We also need to see maybe if there's a linebacker in there, a corner that we could get. Again, for me, so far from looking at this list, and we'll probably just go to the top We'll go top 25. But if you guys want to check it, go to PFF if you want to see more of it. But from this list so far, the only intriguing prospects that we've gone through that I think would be great here, again, it's T. Higgins. I would say it, but he's not my number one on this list. I'd probably go Jalen Johnson. I would like him to, if we get rid of D-Jack, he would be a great replacement there. I'm not a fan of Michael Pittman. And then again, you got Mike Evans, a guy that you can feel throwing the ball up comfortably to. Kendall Fuller, he gets burned way too much. I've seen it. Marquise Brown is great in the slot. You got to use him correctly. And another thing is, again, Marquise Brown's going to be cheap. Again, it's 1 year for $12 million. So good. It's a good one. Bryce Huff as an edge. Again, this guy, I like him, but again, another thing is that his contract is also, again, we have to think about the maneuver in the cap space here. I would like him if we moved on from Burns, because again, then you could sign a guy like this and it would be cheaper than Burns, but you wouldn't get probably the same production out of him, but enough out of him to, at least fill that gap until you find someone else. DJ Reader's a nice one for that interior. Kyle Duggar would be a great safety, but again, I don't think we need safety help. Okay. Trent Brown would be an interesting one. And here's the reason why Trent Brown would be an interesting one. If I'm not mistaken, Trent Brown plays left tackle, if I'm not mistaken. I got to double check that just to make sure I don't sound like an idiot. But he's 30 years old. That's the issue. Again, if we're going to be looking at this from a standpoint of rebuilding this offensive line, right, Jay? I mean, we want to look at guys like this, but again, this guy's 30 years old. He's a great left tackle. Again, I feel like that the biggest thing here, though, Jay, if we're looking at this, you could go after Kevin Dotson, but again, do we really think that we can rebuild this offensive line free agency? And I just don't think so. I don't think we're going to be able to rebuild this whole team, obviously, in 2024. Okay. So I'm not expecting that. But I feel like if we're going to do this the right way, we have to start where it all begins, and that's within the trenches. Sure, we want to get guys like Mike Evans and Marquise Brown, but here's another intriguing guy. Are you a Calvin Ridley fan, Jay?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is not a pass for you.
No. What is he asking for?
It says right now that his contract projection is a franchise tag, which would be over there in Jacksonville. So they're projecting is projecting him to be franchise tagged, and they're projecting him to get franchise tagged by Jacksonville.
It would be stupid to let him go.
Yeah. Well, again, that's the free agency. So again, we know what's going on in the draft. I mean, we can get guards, we can get tackles in there, but again, if we're going to say any names that are going to put asses in the seats, definitely Mike Evans is one. I think Marquise Brown would be a Hollywood Brown, would be one. Calvin Ridley would definitely be one. But the free agency is going to be very tough this year because of the contracts. So, all right, let's move on to the big topic of the day, and that's what everybody's here for. They already heard everything else, but they're definitely here for the analyzing this 3 years here. And I'm going to bring up, Jay, this article that made me think about this topic, and it's starts from The Athletic. And if you haven't read this article, guys, make sure you go do so, because it's a great article. And it's analyzing Scott Fitterer's 3-year here. The good, the bad, and to be determined is what they called it. So if we're going to analyze this thing here, we got to start, if we're starting off with everything, right? All right. we get David Tepper brings him in, the Matt Rule era is starting and all that, right? They're trying to navigate the let's start with the negatives first, okay? Because they have it as the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm gonna call it the negatives. All right. And then Jay, you can let me know what you think about these negatives. So the
Okay.
first negative that comes to mind to me is the decision that the refusal to trade Brian Burns last year to the Los Angeles Rams for 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. And then despite the contract demands and the potential gains from that trade, retaining him and then the uncertainty of the contract negotiations again, it's going to impact this organization whether you like it or not. And it's going to either impact us in that we lose Brian Burns and we lose our only, I guess technically our only pass rusher that everybody likes to say,
Mhm.
or you know, or you tag him, you trade him, and you get a first round and a third. I think at this point, that's the best that you're going to get. You're going to be able to get a first and a third. You're not going to get this kind of magnitude of trade out of him like they refused to do last season. What's your thoughts on that?
I agree. Uh, that was BS. What Scott did. I don't understand their vision with Brian Burns, but he's still not signed. So if you're gonna decline 2 first-round picks, whether it's this year and next year, it doesn't matter. You don't have a first round next year, so it wouldn't have mattered. It would have pretty much helped you out with jumping up from 9-1. That was a plus, and he ignored it. So yeah, man, that's BS.
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense, is what it is. It just doesn't make sense. Next negative that this article talks about is the way that they parted ways with Christian McCaffrey because they opted to trade him to San Francisco for multiple picks. And it kind of raised some eyebrows. Was it a bad trade? You got a second. What did we get? We got a second, a third, and a fourth out of him. Was it a bad trade? For me, if I knew that they were going to get Bryce, right? If I knew they were going to go and get Bryce, I would say now, yes. But if I knew if they were going to get somebody else, because of course, again, I wasn't high on Bryce. I was high on AR-15. I wanted him. And then it was Stroud. Then it was Bryce. But again, now looking what's going on over there in San Francisco and looking at what McCaffrey's done, I mean, he's leading the NFL in rushing. And then we get less than stellar returns because we can't adequately, our GM and our scout team can't adequately draft players.
So for me, it was a horrible trade. I was ready. I'm not gonna lie. I was ready to move on from CMC because the offense is being ran by a running back, and that's too predictable. He couldn't stay healthy, but once he's healthy, he's top. He's top 3 for sure. But was it a horrible trade? Looking back, yes, due to the fact that I'm not like when we trade away players, I'm not trying to replace them. That should be the last thing a GM or owner should think about is replacing a player that you just traded. What they should have did was build a team, have a vision towards how you want your team to look, and we didn't do that. So that's my only issue with it now is that we didn't have a vision and drafted towards it.
Yep. Yep. It just didn't seem like there was a vision, right? It
It was
just like I didn't know what their blueprint really was. And I don't
mhm,
think we really understand what it was, right? Another thing is the free agent signing. So another negative that they were bringing up in this article was that the free agent signings, the personnel decisions that hasn't really brought any results. Hasn't really a guy that really has been really hurting us more than helping us was Miles Sanders. That's
mhm,
one notable free agent signing, right? Hayden Hurst, DJ Chark. I mean, these guys really have failed to make a significant impact, in my opinion. And it raises questions about this team's free agent strategy.
mhm. Mal Sanders for me has been the biggest buzz so far in free agency that we ever done. Honestly, I mean he's getting a massive contract. Is he top 5 running backs being paid this season or just in general?
I don't know. I mean, for him, it's got to be. I could see, but I mean, top running backs, top paid running backs.
Because running backs is not being paid, and he took the opportunity to come to Carolina because we offered him a bigger bag. I didn't get the what guy what was dude named that left us that went to the Chicago Bears? Forgot his name,
Deontay Foreman.
but yeah, Foreman. I didn't understand his way of leaving because he was splitting the ball with CMC and Chuba, so I didn't understand him leaving. But so far for agency, we have not hit. Adam Thielen, he was doing that with Minnesota for the time he was with them, which was given 500 plus yards a season. So
Yeah,
Miles Sanders is by far the biggest.
yeah. I mean, he. By the way, he is top 10. Jay, he's top 10 in average salary. He's making 6.4 mil.
Pathetic.
Yep. Then another negative. So another negative we need to talk about here that explains this in this article, and one of the negatives is that we traded up for Matt Corral. That decision still blows my mind to this day because again, you go up to trade up Matt Corral, and that draft has proven, the 2022 draft. If we want to talk about any of the drafts that was terrible, it was definitely the 2022 one because that draft has proven less fruitful for us because Corral's injuries, and then of course knowing his off-field issues, and then knowing his mental issues, you go up to get this guy, and then you basically just release him. The New England Patriots grab him. And then he's a no-show there for 2 days, and then they release him. We haven't heard anything about this guy at all. And this guy, we have little left to show for that investment.
Crazy. So all of his negatives just shows that he's not fit for the job. He's only sticking around because David Tepper is allowing him to. Yep. He loved Yes Man. He will not move on from Yes Man, and he will overpay for something that he likes, but it's no direct vision.
Right.
So,
and then we got another one though, Jay. Another one for him was selecting Terrace Marshall Jr. in the second round of that 2021 draft.
Oh yeah, he got to go. He's not the general manager for us.
So right now we have literally just pointed out 5 negatives that this GM has done. The biggest, and those are the biggest ones. Okay. Now we are going to build. There are some positive aspects that this article does bring up, and then we'll bring those up next. But again, a guy that just was a disappointment of a player who was expected to be this, a great wide receiver, because we all know the LSU wide receivers are all good. They all come out, they've all balled out, but yet this one guy that we went after that has not. Again, if we look at those drafts that we passed, we got J.C. Horn over Patrick Surtain. You could have had Justin Fields also. You could have had Micah Parsons. You could have had guys like that. You could also have had Amon-Ra St. Brown. Okay. I feel like the list kind of goes on, and the guys that we passed up for selecting some of these guys. Right. So again, right now, the negatives are outweighing the positives, in my opinion.
What's Scott Fitterer's positives, Clay?
Frankie Louvu. Frankie Louvu was a steal. The way that he signed Frankie Louvu, how much that guy's getting paid, and what he has done, he has been an impactful player on this defense, and he's definitely been one of the best players on this team, and he deserves his recognition for that. Signing Frankie Louvu is one of the positive aspects, I would say. Another one, if we want to get more technical, I would say the way he built this defense and special teams. I mean, if you look at bringing in Eddie Pinheiro, and Johnny Hecker have been great here. right? And then Von Bell, Xavier Woods, those guys. I mean, I could say J.C. Horn, but again, I'm not going to say J.C. Horn because we know that J.C. Horn, if he stays healthy, he's a lockdown corner. We know that,
Sure.
but he has to stay healthy.
Okay. I give you that. I give you that. I ain't think of the special teams and cause I'm not very high on Louisville. I don't want to be the stinker of this live right now, but I'm not
But
very
that's why I
high on.
brought you on the show, man. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah, I'll go back and forth over Louisville. It's not that Luke Kuechly has blessed us because he has, but Louisville, he don't even remind me of Thomas Davis. He's just he blitzes a lot, and that's all I see from him. I don't see him really much in coverage. He goes sideline to sideline, but I have to see more. I mean, but at the same time though, Clay, he's not a Mike linebacker, so I got to give him some type of space. I got to
Yeah.
appreciate what he has brought to the team. So I'll give him
Yeah.
his flowers. I'm not gonna bash him like I would do Vernon Butler. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think another thing we can say the positives were we could include maybe Brady Christensen, Tommy Trimble, Chuba Hubbard, bringing in Austin Corbett, the impact that Adam Thielen has had here, signing him. So I would say those are also positives. I mean, what do you think? Do you think those guys also deserve their flowers or at least does Scott Fitterer get some kind of pat on the back on any of those guys?
Uh, no, because I
Yeah.
feel like if I'm gonna stick to him not having complete roster control once Matt Rule got here, I can't say he's done any of those moves. I just feel like I have to be one-sided when with trying to give him his flowers because we can't just say he didn't have total roster control when Matt Rule was here, but saying he deserves some flowers for such and such players. He couldn't even keep like MDJ just stated, like Gilmore. Who else was great that we didn't keep? Burns had a teammate once he was here for that. It wasn't even for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's ass backwards thing that we're doing. We know what we need, but we get rid of certain players and keep players on bad contracts. So I give him a pat on the back, not no flowers. I can't give him that.
Right. Right. Um, all right. So then there's like it says to be determined. So as we go through, as you guys, if you do go read this, there is a part where it says yet to be determined. And for me, one that is to yet to be determined when I was reading this is the future of Bryce Young. Again, we were just talking about that, or someone I think Rock in the comments was saying, what do you think the potential of Bryce would be? I mean, the success or failure for Fitter's decision to trade for Bryce Young remains, I think, uncertain. Again, Young's performance, again, we all know, will likely have a lasting impact on this franchise. So again, I think that's yet to be determined. Um, some mixed outcomes. I think that they mentioned in this, and it kind of made me think too, is like these were both hits and misses in players, and it was just kind of like what MDJ said. It was, the Robbie Anderson extension, Stephon Gilmore's time, brief stint here, right? And then decisions regarding like Hassan Reddick and Deontay Foreman not re-signing those guys. I wouldn't say that's yet to be determined. I think that those actually are negatives than they are yet to be determined. Now, the Bryce future, I would say that's a yet to be determined, sure. But extending Robbie Anderson, he did have that 1,000-yard season, but then after that, what did we see? Nothing but a locker room cancer, was complaining about getting the ball. Then you only have Stephon Gilmore here for a year. You let him walk. You let Hassan Reddick walk. You let Deontay Foreman walk. I would say those are not. They say it's a yet to be determined, but to me, I think that it was a bad decision. Because if you go look at what Hassan Reddick's done over there in the Eagles, right? I mean, my God. I mean, the guy's a monster. He's putting up 15, 16 sacks, right? Let Deontay Foreman walk. after the performance that he put on, with the two-headed monster that we had last year. And then you let Stephon Gilmore walk, who is a lockdown corner in the NFL, who's done great, right? And then again, another one that we need to evaluate is Bradley Bozeman. Has he really been a fit that has fit this offensive scheme? I think that's another. That's why that has to be determined too.
Mm-hmm.
So give me on your thoughts on that. So the future Bryce, Anderson, Gilmore, Son, Reddick, Foreman, Bozeman. What's your thoughts?
The future for Bryce is yet to be determined, like you stated. We have to figure out what fits him. Me personally, as a fan, though, Clay, I know quarterback, a franchise quarterback is needed for any team. But to just bring him here and please him, it concerns me because we have way too many holes to just focus on helping the quarterback. If we, put the dirt in those patches, then I would have been okay with going after a quarterback. But hearing Tepper, his vision and his philosophy of getting a franchise quarterback and just deal with taking L's till you get it right is I'm bothered by it because who are like you're the owner, you're not a general manager, your specialties is not actually football. You're a damn hedge fund. So for me to just hear that from an owner bothers me. I don't know what a fit Bryce as of right now because he can't just sit in the pocket. He wasn't doing that in college. He has to move around. You have to get certain pieces around him, not just weapons, but offensive line. Um, Letting Gilmore and Hassan walk, if we would have kept them, that would have been a player move by Scott Fitterer. And Goat said it himself, and I didn't know this. Goat put me on to Scott Fitterer that he was never a general manager with the Seattle Seahawks. He was in the scouting department, and no telling if he scouted Richard Sherman or any of those other guys. Nobody stated that he was in that scouting department just acing everything. So he's not even a general manager. So,
Right.
but if he would have kept Gilmore and Hassan, that would have been a player move because you declined 2 first-round picks for Byron Burns. You would have extended him, and then you would have kept Gilmore and J.C. Horn on a roster and got rid of DJ, rather it's through a trade or eat the dead cap because you eat dead cap with every player you trade away anyways. So
Right.
those would have been player moves. Would have made me feel like, yeah, Scott, he finally has some say so. David Tepper finally taking a step back from letting this man actually be a general manager, not being one himself. Those would have been player moves for me, and dude.
Yep.
I would have said y'all bugging with not liking Scott Fitter,
Yep.
but it's a wrap. He has to go. He has way too many negatives, probably more than David Tepper at this point. But nah, he got to go.
Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to it comes down to, like I've said it before, and I'll say it again. And again, Scott Fitter, these are the main things. We broke it down, the good, the bad, to be determined, just what the article is basically saying, and I was basically reiterating what the article said. But again, it comes down to the fact of the matter that Scott Fitter did nothing adequately to present anything positive to help bolster up this team, not only through free agency, but but also through the draft. Did nothing correct, right? We can say certain guys here and there, right? But again, it comes down to the fact that we have done nothing adequately enough to help this team out, and he's done nothing to help this team out to really build around a rookie quarterback. And that what is really what it comes down to, because we were so ready to get that franchise guy, but yet we were not willing to, and we panicked, and we were not willing to adequately bring in the right talent here. And again, we got swindled at the end of the day. Our owner allowed it to happen. Our GM panicked because he was trying to cover his ass because we probably know that Tepper was in his ear hammering him. And so it just comes down, and then now everything has just crashed down, and it's come down to not only the Tepper meddling in football, or the owner meddling in football operations, now the on and off field drama between coaches and the owner, texting back and forth, and then this, and then Matt Rule doing this. But you know what's crazy now? If we think about it, Matt Rule looks so much better than Frank Reich does, and it's sad to say. So again, we all know that there's one person that definitely needs to go as well, and it's Scott Fitterer. We just broke it down for you and analyzed it in every simple step and fashion. And again, guys, make sure you pound that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, go over to Jay Issues channel. Make sure you go over there and subscribe. Make sure you pound his like button of this live stream. Again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream, and we're going to get into some other things here next. Jay, you ready? Are you able to stick around for a little bit more, my friend?
Yes, sir.
All right. You want to do a mock draft?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's do a mock draft. I've been doing these. It's been a lot of fun. These things are so much fun to do. It's hard to get it to be so realistic, though. That is the issue. That is the biggest issue. But I'm going to maneuver the settings today to try to get that up here. Let's get into it. So we're going to use the PFF one, guys. This is the one I always like to use. So again, we're going to do all 7 rounds. We can make trades. We can do whatever we want. We can also go let's say, for me personally, randomness, I keep that as far down as possible because again, I don't like it. Normally I'll just put it maybe like here. I'll probably keep this for position value, maybe a little bit above it. And then I'll probably put draft needs in the middle. And that's probably about as realistic as I've seen it from a standpoint. And then we'll click in here. And so Jay, what we're going to do is we're going to go through here. We're going to enter this draft, and we're already starting off, and we'll go slow. All right. So first things first, who do you want to is there anybody you think that we should trade? Because we can trade, but again, the only person that I've seen through this, and I'll be honest with you, doing these so much, there's only one person that I've been able to get a first round pick for, and that's Brian Burns.
We should have got rid of him with the Rams. I mean, it's old news. I don't know what we're doing with him now, but do
we want to go the route of saying like tag him and trade him, or do we want to go the route that we sign him?
So I'm not even going. A lot of fans, they don't want to pay him. They don't like Brian Burns. For me, I'm gonna have to keep him. It's not our money to dictate what he needs or desire. For me though, I'm not giving him 30 a year.
No.
I'm not. So if he won't 30, he gotta go.
Mm-hmm. If it's me, I've been doing this too. So what I've been doing is I take like guys like Hayden Hurst. I've been able to trade him.
Okay.
But we can wait to trade guys as we get to each round. So we don't have we only have a second round pick, right? So we go through this. We'll have to start in the second round. So I say we'll just start in the second round. We can work our way down, and we can go through the draft. And in each round, we can try to maybe trade someone. So, of course, Caleb Williams is off the floor. Drake May. Again, we'll see how this pans out. Again, this is a mock draft. Apparently the Cardinals got Marvin Harrison because the Bears went there. It shows they got Malik Neighbors as well. Joe Alt to the Giants. Bowers to the Jets. Latu to the Chargers. Rome Aduzier over there to him. Let's see.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is what these things are crazy, man. Because it's like I try to make it as realistic possible with the settings, but it's kind of hard. Jaden Daniels to the Broncos. Okay, hold on. This is ridiculous. I do not like that. All right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3. We'll keep that there. Yeah, we'll do this. I'm taking randomness off. I think that's the issue.
Yeah, I don't.
All right. Perfect. Let's do that. Let's see what it does now. Okay, Caleb Williams still. Okay. I mean, it's still going to do that. Drake May, Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay. I mean, I could see the first 3 for sure. First 4. I could even see them going from Neighbors at 5, Joe Alt at 6. Jets for Brock Bowers, I could see it, but I doubt it.
Nah.
Roma Duzier, I could see it.
Into the Titans?
Yeah, a tight end to the Titans. They got Roma Duzier. They got a wide receiver.
Dropped him the other one before you restarted.
Yeah, I know. I still set. We might have to
get him. He has to sit.
Yeah. Okay, tackle to Bills. Edge rush to the Broncos. Bo Nix to the Vikings. Cooper DeJohn to LA. Darren Arnold to Colts. Devontae.
I'm not believing this.
No. What is going on with this thing? I've never had this crazy. Come on now. I've never seen it crazy. Yeah, let's try another. Let's get another one up here.
Jaguars have how many receivers and they draft another one?
Nah. Let's try this one. I've heard this is a great one here. Instead. Okay, so we're gonna select the Panthers. And we got that. We got 7 rounds. Okay.
So Chicago still has that first pick, even though we won.
As of right now, yes. But if we win, we would have to probably win. I mean, we might be able to spoil them if we win 1 out of the next 3.
Yeah.
But again, to really spoil them, I would have to see us win 2 out of the next 3.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right, hold on. Got too much stuff up here. Perfect. The draft room. I heard that this one is better, so I'm going to move this over here so I can see it better. All right. I am
lagging. Yeah.
I know. All right, come on. Okay, we're in here now. Okay, cool. So you can do this. You could do trades in this too if we want to. But we could just run through a normal one and not worry about trades in this one. Whatever we want to do. But okay, so here we go. Let's start it up. I've heard this one's pretty realistic out of all of them, but you never know. A trade? What is this? I'm not trading. I ain't got no trades to make. I ain't got no trades to make. Just start the draft. Okay, so Chicago went tackle first. I could see that too, though. Okay. Newton. They went edge. Okay. Edge, offensive tackle, tight end. Okay. Corner, offensive tackle. I could see it. Oh, wow. All right, so let's see what they did. So they went tackle, which I could see. Also because they definitely want to build that offensive lineup. Um, Malik Napers to New England. I mean, really? So who took Drake May? The Jets. And New York took Jalen Daniels.
Kind of could see. I kind of could see this one a little bit.
Interesting.
That wide receiver to the Titans, 3
That
times.
Roma Duzier is nasty. Okay, lot edge rusher Atlanta makes sense. Corner makes sense. I mean Vegas. I mean I
No,
could see
Raiders. No, no,
the Raiders.
they're not.
Yeah.
No.
Keon Coleman there. Keon Coleman over there. Okay, so then we got.
I don't. The
Ooh.
Raiders and the Saints, I don't believe would be realistic.
I mean, I could see the Bears going that route because I mean, they're. I have a feeling they're going to stick with Justin Fields, and I think that they already got DJ Moore and they got Darnell Mooney, so they got the wide receivers. Now again, but I could see them also getting any elite neighbors or a guy like Marvin Harrison. Um, Damn, the Giants, Jalen Daniels. I mean, I could see it.
I
Drake
think
May.
Chicago will go away from Fields' uh, best attribute, which is being mobile.
Mm,
He can throw the ball, but offensive tackle with the first pick, he's not really he don't stay in the pocket. He'd take off if he
yeah,
need. But
yeah. All right. Well, this is pretty interesting so far, to say the least, with this one. All right. So, let's start it off here. I mean, we're first pick in the second round. I mean, what are you hammering out first? Like, what is your mindset saying go first?
well, it sucks that we have to please Bryce Young. So if my can you go down the Ropp receivers real quick?
Sure can.
I like Xavier.
I
I
mean,
like him a lot. Can you scroll down a little bit more?
yeah, yeah, yeah. You got Troy Franklin there, Lad Monkey, Jalen Polk, Johnny Wilson, Malachi Corley.
Our receiver right there,
Which one?
Malika Carly. Dude
Ah,
is
yeah. You want to take him here? You don't think he'll fall?
he nasty. No, we can try second round. But I'm going. So here's my question because I'm kind of confused with offensive tackle and inside
Mm-hmm.
that one with them two IOL and OT.
Mm-hmm.
Does OT play guard as well or
I mean, these guys probably play guard, but most of the time IOL means the inside guys. So these guys are
okay?
guards, and then the OTs are the outside guys.
Go inside.
All right. So you got Cedric Grandparent, these guys, these first three guys right here are all centers.
I'm gonna have to pass on them three then.
Yeah. And then if we go to offensive tackle, you've got Troy, and then you got Kingsley, and you got Jordan Morgan.
Jordan Mark. I looked up tape on a few of them.
Mm,
It's I believe it's rough, but if we got to go offensive tackle or wide receiver, got to be probably Troy.
okay. All right. So you want to go? You want to rock Troy?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's rock Troy. So we got a B plus on that. All right. All right. So again, now here's the thing that's interesting. Once we get back to this next round, is the third round. I've been able to make trades in the third round. I've been able to trade. I think I was able to trade Jeremy Chin for a third, which would kind of make sense to trade him because we're not using him. Again, Xavier Woods and Von Bell are back there, but again, Von Bell is also a guy that we could trade and move Chin back to that position. Now, this is interesting because this is actually offers you trade. So they're trying to give me their third round pick at 69 and a 2025.
25, 6
No,
round.
I'm good. Holy fuck. That looks nice. That looks really nice, actually. A third round pick and 2 fourth round picks. Okay, we'll come back to that. Let's see what
13
else we got
spots
here.
down too.
I know. Okay, so they gave us a third, a fourth, and a 2025. So far, Pittsburgh's winning.
Yeah. If we
Uh,
accept the trade, Pittsburgh, but
you want to accept that trade, or do you want to just continue with what we got?
how you feel about that trade?
I mean, because here's the thing. We're trying to rebuild, right? We didn't trade Burns, right? Because because I'm kind of going based off of what you're feeling too here. So you wanted to keep Burns, so I'm cool with that. And because I would love to keep him too. But I think this is something that we need to really realize is that if we're going to try to get some guys here, we're going to try to build the depth up. I think this is how we got it. We're going to have to do it in this fashion and of course in free agency. But I think we're going to have a better chance because looking at that top 100 list, I mean, man, it's kind of slim pickings. You know what I mean? It's kind of slim pickings, especially with the contracts. You got to think about that. I would say we got to take this one because again, you get that third round pick. Yeah, you're moving 13 spots down. Again, we're kind of pulling the Scott Fitterer trading back, but again, you're getting 2 fourth round picks about in it. So that's when you can still find that running back, that tight end, that other wide receiver that maybe you want to go get. Right? You might even who knows? Mike Corley could fall to that fourth round. That's the thing about these drafts. I say we accept it.
Let's get it.
All right. So we accepted that. So now we're at the 78th pick. And so we got our offensive tackle. And then it looks like if he falls, we will hit. Let's see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Our receiver made it.
So it hit. It hit. And again, there's some more trade offers here for this. Again, our guys right there on the board. We really don't want to move from this. You know what I mean? I'm cool with it because we already got 2 fourth round picks now. And I like how it gives us a suggestion either him or him, but let's go ahead and get the Malachi Corley. So now we got Malachi and look at that. We got B plus, A plus. There you go.
He's like that.
So we took the trade. Everybody else in the chat seems happy about it. Said they take the trade. And guys, I mean, now we got a lot of fourth round picks now. So we got 1, 2, 3. We got 3 fourth round picks now, which is crazy. All right. So I'm not going to worry about any of this now. I mean, unless someone's going to give me something like Pittsburgh did there. But I don't see anything I like, so I'm going to reject it. Yeah, I didn't like any of that. So now it gets interesting. So we got our left tackle. We kind of killed 2 birds with 1 stone with Frank, right? With Troy, I mean, right? Because we're going to put Troy at left tackle, right? We're going to move Icky to the inside. Then you get Malachi Corley. Now, again, we still got some decent wide receivers on the board here. Right, we got Torrey Horton. You got you can bring in Brendan Rice. But then let's look on the interior again here. Let's see what we got. So there's our starting center for the rest of our franchise career. Honestly, I'm not kidding you. I think Cedric Van Pran is going to be the guy. That is somebody you want in that center position. Now, again, we don't need to even look at tackle anymore, right? We also can look at because we also want to look at these other skill players. We got tight end. I'm not going to go Jaheim Bell here. And then you also got Braylon Allen. So Braylon Allen is a great running back who I would love to get. Rock Jones says Walker would be hard to pass up there. I feel you. But I'm looking again. We want to build this offensive lineup. Again, that left side's now basically done. And if we get that centerpiece, it's even better.
How you feel about Jonathan? Go back to the running backs real quick.
Jonathan Brooks.
I
like him too.
I believe he tore his ACL, but
He's good. He's very good. Another guy that I like on this list that is down here is Audric Esteem. This guy is a workhorsing running back. It's that big time. Um, he's that big time
He's a
workhorse.
bruiser.
Yeah, big bruiser. For a bruiser, he runs a 4-4. He runs a 4-4-3. So again, we'll still be able to get someone on that back end. Now, again, I do like Jonathan Brooks, but that ACL does scare me. So it's like you got to think about, okay, is he going to come back strong? Right? Is he going to come back off that? I say, Jay, we solidify that offensive line with Cedric Lampran.
Let's do it.
Now, again, we only have to wait now 12 picks. And we get our next one. Let's see here. And let's look at we solidified it. Jaheim Bell's still there.
They tripping.
I mean, I get it, but I wouldn't know. No. Good God. That would be hard to pass up, I would say, just because of the fact that I would get a shit ton of draft picks for next year.
Yeah.
But I think I just feel very comfortable with that, with what Pittsburgh gave us. I kind of want to just rock with what we got. I want to rock with what we got. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. Have a nice day. So we got our skill set player in Malachi Corley. We got our left tackle, and we've solidified our offensive line. Now, is this where we really try to do we go wide receiver again? Again, we got Devontae Walker here, and again, we also have another 4th round pick. Do we wait and we go ahead and get Jaheim Bell? But for me, his value at 117 suggests me that I go back and get another wide receiver. Again, the running backs are still there. I think I can wait to come back and get a
Damn. Well, there goes Clay. Not sure when he will get back in, but man, the draft was going well. I believe our other need would have to be cornerback or linebacker for sure. We have way too many injuries on both. Well, damn near the whole roster, but cornerback for sure will be another need I will go to in that draft. Hopefully, Clay will get back soon so we can get back to it. Shout out to Clay. Any donations will help Clay get a new Wi-Fi provider. Other than that, he's using McDonald's. It's a little bit down the street from him, so he's using their Wi-Fi. But yeah, man, shout out to Clay. Clay and his Wi-Fi is pretty magnificent up until this point. But man, it sucks to see our roster and the team how far it came. I'm a bit disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. We're in the hole. Way too many contracts. We're holding on to the wrong people. Panther. Panther X, yes sir. McDonald's Wi-Fi hit different for sure. Damn man, it's hard to accept trades now. Looking at how David Tepper is as an owner, teams know he's desperate, so they're gonna want whatever they can get out of him due to him being desperate. But yeah, man, if y'all still tuned in up until this point, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Continue to support Clay. His channel is dope, in my opinion. Head over to mine as well at JSU. I'm a Panthers fan. It just haven't been in my favor for years. So it seemed positive, not to speak about the team, but it is what it
Sorry,
is.
guys.
Look who's back.
I have no idea what the fuck just happened.
Shout out to McDonald's.
Huh?
Huh?
What'd you say?
Nothing. Just reading comments.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate you sticking in there, my friend.
No problem.
Sorry about that, guys. This thing, dude, freaking my internet just went in and out for some reason there. I don't know what's going on. But it's all good.
Yes,
it's all good. I got it fixed. All right. So we're back at it. My bad. Okay.
Yeah. I was chatting with the chat, Clay, and I feel like cornerback would be a big need. Cornerback, linebacker, but if you want to go somewhere else.
Okay, so you're saying with this next pick we're talking about. Okay, so you're talking about cornerback would be a need. Okay, and then you're saying go, or we could go somewhere else.
Cornerback.
So you said cornerback or linebacker.
Yeah.
So we got Max Melton, who's a stud.
Are we able to check his catalog out?
Actually, let me pull up. I have my draft board. Give me 1 second.
I haven't looked into the cornerbacks.
Yeah, I got a draft board for you guys that I'm creating, and it's taken me a long time, but let's talk about this guy first. So we'll talk about who am I looking at? Okay, no, let's go back to the corners because that's what we're talking about. So we're talking about Max Melton, right? All right, so let's talk about him. And let's go over to defensive backs in my list here. Max Melton. I'm going to give you a breakdown of him. I got to find him first. He's in my board somewhere. He is in my board somewhere here.
Rock Jones. Will I re-sign Louisville? I'm not giving him 18. I'm not giving him 18 a year.
Just give me all
20. I'm not giving him 20 a year.
Yo, draft board. What are we doing here? Taking forever to get me uploaded here. Come on now. What are you doing? Now go here. Go to my position ranks. Go to here. Go to all. And then we're going to go to defensive back. And okay, perfect. Okay, now it's giving me all my guys. All right, so we are on Max Melton, and he is a 6 foot, 190, 4.4 speed corner. Basically, my breakdown of this kid is that his strengths are that he is great at route recognition, guys. He's got some room to improve in his footwork during transition. He's got hand-eye coordination and agility, as well as a keen vision. He can hit a third gear if he needs to. He's got impressive ball skills. He's effective downfield. He's got the physical gifts to match any corner in his class, really. The weakness, though, with him is this, and there's only like a couple, is that sometimes his backpedaling gets sloppy. And transitions too close to the ball and can be sluggish. Another thing is his angles of pursuit could be tighter. His tackling techniques needs to improve a little bit more for me. Consistent finishes, right? And he allows too much cushion sometimes when he's playing off in man, which becomes very problematic when it comes to his tackling in the open field space. But he's got more strengths than he does weaknesses. I will say that.
It's like D-Jack, but
yeah, just not as fast. Again, when we go to the linebackers, though, guys, I'll be honest with you. If I'm going with anybody, it's going to be either Junior Colson here or Tommy Ingeberg. I give Colson the edge there, more athletic. A little bit better in coverage, in my opinion, but he's a big run stopper. Tommy Ingeberg's good in coverage, but I would actually, you know what? I have that backwards. Tommy's better in coverage. Junior is good in coverage, but not better than Tommy. Junior's better at rushing the passer and stopping the run. He's more of that kind of guy.
I'm going with Tommy.
Okay, so you like Tommy because he's more of that middle guy. Okay. So you would so no wide receiver here, no tight end, no running back. So we're gonna go linebacker here.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's rock it. Eichenberg. That's definitely German. Eichenberg. So now, oh shit. Okay. 2 offers. I'm gonna reject that one. And I'm gonna reject that one. Thanks. So we got our line. So we've got wide receiver, linebacker. So now, do we want to go corner again, or are we going to hold all? I mean, not corner again. Do we want to go corner here? Do we want to look at the tight ends? Do we want to look running back, or do we want to go back to the wide receiver?
What's Hayden Hurst's contract? Let me see if I can look it up.
His contract, I think, is only a 2-year deal, and I don't think it's very much money. Hayden Hurst contract. Yeah, it's 3 years. My bad.
Yeah, I'm not looking at tight end. Then I'm gonna rock it out till he leaves.
Yeah, rock it out with him, and then Rock. I mean, honestly, we've seen some very good, impressive performance again. Like I felt like that Tommy Trimble has definitely gotten better. And he's still young. You know what I mean?
He stepped up this year for sure.
So again, this is where it gets interesting. I mean, could we go D-line to maybe bring somebody in to help out, Derek Brown in the middle? We've already got linebacker to help that out. We kept Brian Burns, right? Do we go corner and and do we trade D-Jack? Now, again, I could make a trade here because we are still in the 4th round. I could make a trade here. Can I? Oh, you can't trade picks.
You can't trade away players.
Oh, see, in this one you can't trade players, and the other one you can.
Okay.
All right, so that does not help this draft. So now we have to basically take the trading players out of it.
So, depending on if we can get rid of D-Jack and eat the dead cap, or just go cornerback in the draft and just hold on to him till his contract is up and then move on from him.
Right.
After 2024? He's a free agent after that.
2024, he's a free agent, but again, we're gonna eat that $15.8 million in cap space from him.
After he become a free agent, we will eat a 4.5.
Yeah, but if we trade him now, right before, because there's a deadline, right? There's that July 1st or June 1st deadline.
Yeah.
If you trade him before that, you won't eat up any of it.
Yeah, I'm not trading him right now. I will go cornerback here till his contract is up and move off from him.
All right. Let me see if that guy's on here. Okay, he's not up on here. So we'll go with Max Melton. Great pick.
Cornerback.
Great corner. I think he's good. I think he's going to be good. I really do. A lot of these guys, man, this is a deep draft for a lot of positions. I mean, it's very deep. It is very deep for a lot of positions. And then we're right back into the first pick in the 5th round. Again, now we got our corner. We got our linebacker. This is where it gets interesting. So we look at the running backs. My boy's there. I'm all about Mr. Audric Esteem. Wide receivers, we got Roman Wilson. You got Moosh Muhammad. You got Michael Sturvadivant, who I like as well. Malik Washington, solid. So there's still some decent wide receivers we could get. Again, we could look at the tight end position. The tight end position has really gone. Now, Theo Johnson's still there. Let's see if there's AJ Barner is still there. So those guys are still there, which I could target. What's your thinking? What's your thinking here?
Double dip back in the cornerback.
Interesting. Very interesting. All right. So we're going to double dip in the cornerback. Jay wants to double dip in the cornerback position, and I'm going to give you a breakdown of because it looks like Anise, who I have seen play plenty plenty. Where is he at on my draft board? I don't even have him.
Enos.
Yeah, I don't even know if I have him in the top 25. I don't. I have him in my good Lord. I have him way back here. Damn, I don't even have him in the top 50. Sheesh. All right. Let's go to corners only because I got it set it to corners only. Give me corners only, please. All right, whatever. Screw you. He's gonna have to be the best available, though. He's got to be between. Well, I do like Chanu Smith-Wade, who is pretty fucking solid, actually. Hold on, let me find his name again. I had him pulled up just a second ago because I was looking at his scouting report. Out of Washington State, there's Jaden Hicks. He's already gone, but he's a safety, so I've got my safeties and corners mixed together because I got them as defensive backs on my draft boards. Hmm. Yeah. So Chan, can y'all hear me? Can you still hear me? Or am I lagging still bad? Dude, why am I lagging so bad? It says I got three bars. Jay, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I just didn't know if you could still hear me. All right, cool. All right, Chad Smith-Wade, guys. So let's break it down real quick. His strengths: he's got great skill set. He can recognize and anticipate routes, so he understands what's coming to him. He's got good ball skills. I would say he's got good instincts. He's great in zone coverage, and he's a great ball tracker down the field, especially when he's playing in a trail position. For me, his weaknesses though, he develops better at understanding of he needs to have better development when it comes to understanding route combinations to better overall his vision. But NFL teams are going to test him deep early. Most of the time, that's what they're going to do because he also is prone to flags since he's a grabby downhill field. But I think he's better than the Enos guy. I don't even have Enos in my top 60, top 50. So I'd rather go with Charles Smith and let this guy. This is the guy that you could develop into a guy who's definitely a ball hawk. So if we're gonna double dip, I would say this guy.
He's on the short side as a cornerback, and if he's handsy downfield, he just remind me of what's his name? He's so ass. I forgot his name.
You talking about Bradbury?
No.
He's not that bad of ass.
Oh, you don't like James Bradbury?
He's ass, dude. I'm sorry.
That's crazy. Nah, you can't. That's crazy. Henderson.
Oh, CJ.
If he's handsy downfield, I don't know if I want him.
I feel you because this guy from Missouri, dude, I'm going all the way down. I mean, dude, I don't even have this guy in my top. If it was Chris Abrams, I would take him, but it's not Chris Abrams, and Chris Abrams is the guy there in Missouri. If I'm taking a pick here, though, I'd have to go with Charles Smith. So this is a difficult thing of taking double dipping here, though.
Yeah, it is. The cornerbacks now is in a shorter shorter range. We got plenty of those.
Mm-hmm. I would say I would say then let's look in the defensive line.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do it. So defensive line, if it's me, I mean, looking at what we got left here, because there's not much left. All right. If we're gonna go with anybody here, it would either be Jordan Birch. I mean, it is suggesting Landon Jackson, who I do like as well. Landon Jackson, I actually have him in my top 11, top 10. So he just missed the cut in top 11. He's a big 6'7", 281-pound dude. He runs a 4.6. He's got fluidity, he's got speed. It allows him to cover a lot of ground when dropping back into zone, because he can play D line, but he can also play off the edge. So he kind of can do best of both worlds, right? The thing is that his weakness is he's about as raw as sushi. Okay. And he gets by on really on natural talent and ability with really no technique or refinement, which means he plays at a high rate, but he has very poor balance and poor power, so he loses ground at the point. But for me, if I'm picking anybody over him, again, it's got to be Birch. I like Birch a lot. I think Birch played at University of South Carolina, so I got to see him play a lot. He did pretty damn well there in Oregon. He fits. Some teams will prefer a 4-3 with this kid. And Birch has a chance to hold up in the middle, and he would be a good one. So if it's gonna go for me, and if I'm picking anybody here, I'd go Jordan Birch. Instead of leaning on a guy that's just like, I got the raw talent, but yet I don't have the technique yet.
I'm with it.
All right. So we got Jordan Birch. So now we didn't double dip in corner. I kind of convinced Jay to let's look elsewhere. So now we're in the we just finished up the 5th round. Actually, no, we didn't finish up the 5th round yet. Now we have. So now we got this 6th round pick. And we only got 2 picks left. And we either got to go tight end, or we got to go again wide receiver, or we look into the running back room. And again, there ain't much.
They took your running back, huh?
They did, but my other guy is right here, Isaiah Davis, another workhorse. Another workhorse. Another workhorse. So, where do you want to go back to wide receiver, or do we want to look at that tight end position? Again, I get it with the Hayden Hurst thing. We might have some upside there. We take a chance with Trimble and Hurst again. We could go back to the wide receiver position, or we could try to.
I'm gonna pass on wide receiver.
Okay.
How many more picks do we have left?
We got 2 left.
2. I haven't been paying attention to a lot of running backs neither, so we might look at the tight ends.
Okay. I would say no. Trey Knox possibly. Theo Johnson would be a guy. I would also be interested in AJ Barner. I would probably take AJ Barner out of anybody here, at least from my standpoint. I think AJ Barner is actually a top 5 tight end in this draft. Surprisingly, they got him so low on here. Now, of course, other draft boards have him in different positions. But in this draft, these people, whoever made this simulator, believes that that's where he belongs. Me personally, I think he's a top 5 tight end. So we're staying away from the wide receiver. We're looking at tight ends. Again, this is a guy that we could get later on. Again, another thing with the wide running backs for me is Isaiah Davis. Get him later on. But again, we only have 2 picks. We got this pick and then our 178th pick. Again, the corner room is still there. We could go ahead and get, take Chow Smith again. Wade. It's kind of really what we're thinking here.
It's getting pretty thin.
Yeah, and that's why I think that we got to go wide receiver. Because you're going to have to bring somebody else in.
Yeah, or go free agency.
Okay, fair. So let's say we go free agency route, right? Let's say we go free agency route. All right, fine. So we'll take that out the way. And then you don't want to go tight end, right? Because you want to hang on because we're talking about the Hurst thing. Okay. All right.
Tommy Trimble.
Yeah. And then we already went defensive line. Do we want to maybe go edge? We could. Marshawn Keenley's there. Nelson Caesar's there. Antoine. Damn, there are actually some decent fucking edge rushers here. How the hell does
Gabriel Murphy background?
How the fuck did they get him all the way down there? That's insane. Gabriel Murphy. Let's go here. Gabriel Murphy's good, man. He's got a wide base. He's got a low center of gravity. He holds his ground well. He's got great upper body strength. He shreds blockers very well. Again, you got Marshawn Keenlaw. He might fit better in a zone blocking approach, which kind of makes sense for us. Because that's kind of what we're doing here. He does have some scheme versatility and that football IQ that kind of stinks himself from others. And then you got the Muhammad Kamar, who has that classic frame, long arms with some explosive power. He's got the ability to close. He combines a lot of his power with that long reach. Again, he's a solid one. Antoine Powell down there as well. He's flexible enough to bend the edge, and he's the best when it comes to quickness and change of direction abilities. So I'm surprised we even got this many guys left here at this position. Honestly, out of any of these guys, you really can't go wrong with this one, this one, this one, this one. You can't go wrong. Okay. But with the value, you might as well go. If it's me, I'm taking Marshawn Keeneland because of what he can do. He's just a better fit. He just better fits what we're doing on defense now.
Okay. All right, let's go with it.
All right.
My thing with these later rounds, it's like I just don't want no roster bodies. I'm tired of that.
Yeah. No, I feel you. And I got Marshawn Keeneland. Actually, all these guys are in my top 20. So, I mean, it's crazy that they're even still here. Now, do we finish it off with a running back?
Frank Gore Jr., Ray Davis.
I'm all over this freaking Isaiah Davis kid, man. It's crazy because he plays. Here's the thing about him. I know he plays at a small school. But the thing about him is, or Ray Davis, is Ray Davis still there? Was Ray Davis there? Yeah, Ray Davis, or the Dylan Labu. I mean, again, Ray Davis, he's at 216 pounds, 510. He's aggressively finished his run. He constantly falls forward, in a crowd. He has that low pad level. He's got a bit of a wiggle that keeps him from absorbing. Then you got that Dylan LeBeau. He was 5'10", 207, runs a 4.4, right? So shows a surprising burst to beat linebackers to the edge. He can plant his feet in the ground and explode off, showing a better single line straight speed there. But then when I look at Isaiah Davis, and the reason why I like him a lot is because of his stature, because he's 6'1", 220 pounds. It's just one of those guys who is just difficult to bring down, right? He's got that regular side steps. He would be, which is hard against tackler. He uses his off hands. He's just that big back that we've been looking for. But again, these other guys, these also are downhill runners that we've been looking for. So you can't go wrong with really any of these guys. I like these Dylan. I do like Ray. And if I had to go and pick someone else, it would probably be Isaiah.
We don't necessarily need a bruiser, But if Bryce is going to stay in that pocket, we would need a running back to pitch in. So a downhill, because even Miles and Chuba have a hard time blocking
Yeah.
blitz. So our bruiser is needed for either gaining a yard or helping block. So whichever one.
That would be Isaiah Davis, because here's the thing. What he is built with a thick frame. He's got that thick frame body, that powerful lower body, right? Which kind of keeps his legs pumping through the runs. But then when he's patient, that's the thing that I like about him. When you watch his game film, he's patient from the line of scrimmage, and because he kind of allows his blocks to really create the openings, and then he looks for that cut lane. But when it comes to blocking, he is very good at blocking because of how big he is. He's able to take those blockers and hold them off for a good amount, decent, not like an offensive tackle or guard, but enough to give your quarterback that extra little bit of time. Okay. So if it's me, I'm going Isaiah Davis all day just because of his frame.
Let's go.
They gave me a D+. Well, screw you. Whatever.
We have other needs, but as of right now, next year's draft, I don't know if we'll trade with someone and draft back and get more capital, but I would love this draft, honestly.
Yeah. Knox is pretty good. Yeah, I like Knox too, Rock. He's good. He's just not – I don't know, man. He's just – I've seen him play South Carolina, man. It's too inconsistent for me. Well, there's our mock draft.
Yes, sir.
Well, Jay. Huh?
Did they grade it already?
They're finishing it up right now.
Okay.
Well, Jay, do you want to stick around for the NFL picks, or you got to get out of here?
NFL picks. Now we can finish that up real
quick. All right. I'll finish it up after this. Let's see what we got. There we go. Let's hit save. Yeah. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah, we saved it. I got it saved. All right. Well, there we go. Got these guys in the trade, and it worked out. We were able to build the defense up too. Be able to add that extra edge rusher. We were able to get a wide receiver. Obviously, we got Mingo. So, I mean, I'm kind of feel comfortable with that. You're able to get – so we went left tackle. You move Icky to the inside. You get Cedric Van Perrin in the third. You build that. You got the offensive line basically built up besides the right-hand side. But you got the blind side, which is the most important, and the centerpiece that keeps everybody grounded. Right. You get Malachi Corley, who's a stud at wide receiver, who's going to be a big-time playmaker wide receiver. That's what he is. You end up getting a linebacker who's great in coverage, a great middle linebacker, that nickel linebacker that we've been looking for, right? Not saying this guy's the next Luke Kuechly, but he is a very good linebacker who has a lot of upside. Then you get Max Melton, another corner that could end up panning out and being, you get that extra depth piece in that corner room, right? We so desperately need, and especially if they do decide to trade Dante Jackson. You build up the defensive line. You got a guy in Jordan Birch who can help in that run game, defend, that pass and help out in the pass rush as well. Jordan Birch kind of can do it all there, but again, great piece to, bring around with Derek Brown. And then you get that edge, the extra edge, Marshawn Kinley to kind of maybe bolster up that edge room with YGM, right? Because YGM's probably still going to be here. And then you get that big downhill running back and a guy who can block to help out Chuba.
Solid. Oh, you on mute, Clay? Clay, you on mute?
Sorry, I was on mute. For some reason, I was muted. Guys, again, that was the NFL mock draft that we just did. I hope you all enjoyed that. Make sure you pound that like button. Subscribe to Jay's channel. I don't know what's going on with me over here, though, today, guys. So I apologize with my audio and my Wi-Fi going in and out. This doesn't really happen very often. So I don't know what's going on. Let's get into the NFL Week 16 picks with Jay, and we'll finish it off with that. And we got a nice schedule coming up here. We can skip the Panthers game because obviously maybe Jay might want to break it down on his channel, and I'm probably going to break it down, so I'm going to skip it today as well. First matchup. All right, we're going to talk about first is tonight's football game. We got the Rams versus the Saints. For me, the Rams, they're quietly gaining momentum. I think they're going to try to aim to make a statement against the Saints because they're trying to make that playoff push. Give me the Rams tonight, 24-13.
Who's at home?
The Rams are.
I believe it'll be a close game, but give me the Rams as well.
All right. He's rocking with the Rams. All right, next one. Okay, next one. We got the Bengals and the Steelers. Bengals at the Steelers. Again, the Steelers are just struggling on all cylinders right now. Mason Rudolph's getting the start there. I mean, I think the Bengals capitalize at home with the victory. Give me the Bengals 20-16.
For me, every team has been a quarterback carousel, not just the Panthers. So, luckily, fans just can't just dig into the Panthers with having a quarterback carousel. But I won't give me the Bengals too. Brownie, he's doing his thing.
I can't believe it, honestly. So, the Bengals, it is. So we agree on that. Let's move on to the Bills and Chargers. Okay, this is a big one. Buffalo's confidence. They're trying to, that convincing win over Dallas spells trouble for the struggling Chargers. Obviously, we all know Justin Herbert's out. I know I say it's a big game, but it is a big game for the Bills, right? They're trying to make that playoff push. They're trying to get back to their Super Bowl hopes, right? I think the Bills win big again. I'm taking them in a big matchup here. Give me the Bills 33-10.
Man, Josh Allen, if you're in fantasy, you got Gabe Davis. Josh Allen has been ignoring this man for weeks. And I'm pissed off because he made me take an L. I was 12-0. So, Keenan Allen, he's out. He's out again. I don't know who's at quarterback for the Chargers, but they're not doing a great job. I would have to give it to the Bills.
Okay. All right. Packers, Panthers. We're going to move on from that. Browns and Texans. All right. Cleveland has been so resilient even ever since Deshaun Watson got injured. They bring in Joe Flacco. Huh?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, again, this is where I was going to get at. CJ Stroud's most likely out still. So again, I got to rock with the Browns defense, and I also got to rock with Joe Flacco, who's gone back-to-back weeks for over 300 yards passing. Give me the Browns. That's no brainer for me.
They have a top 5 defense. That run game, Hunt and whoever else running that ball, the Browns got a sneaky team.
Yeah.
And the Texans, they were on one. I'm tired of people saying that Stroud had the better weapons when that was Cap. DJ Chark and Adam Thielen was Pro Bowlers at the end of the day. Shout out to Tank Dell. He was on pace to, I don't know if Rookie of the Year, but he's a damn good receiver. But I'm taking the Browns. The Texans they hurt right now.
Yeah. I feel you on that. Commanders and Jets. Obviously, this is going to be boring as shit. This is definitely going to be a low-scoring affair. If I'm taking anyone with the Commanders, how they're struggling, give me the Jets. I'll take the Jets in this one. I'll rely on Breece Hall. in that run game with them, and hopefully Garrett Wilson gets open. And I think the Jets have a better defense, so I'm just going to take the Jets. I think it's going to be close.
I'm going on a limb with this one. I go with Washington.
You're Rock Washington.
Yeah.
All right, Seahawks and Titans. Now, again, there's some uncertainties there, quarterback in the Seahawks, because we don't know the extent yet of Geno's injury, and then we don't know how long he's going to be out. Again, I think he's questionable at the moment. I don't know what's going on over there. Drew Lock stepped up, beat the Eagles Monday night. The Titans are predicted to capitalize on that potential letdown, so I think the Titans actually get the win over the Seattle Seahawks.
Derrick Henry. He haven't been good this season. I really don't know who to go with this week. I will go with Seattle. I think that rookie running back, he's been doing all right this season.
Charbonnet, yeah.
I'm gonna go with Seattle.
All right, rock with Seattle. Holy crap. Just hold on. Breaking news. Ben Johnson just announced that if someone wants to sign him this season, he wants a $15 million contract. Just so y'all know. It's something like that. It's something crazy that just came out saying that he wanted a $15 million contract. I don't know if that's per year or if that's for whatever it is. But anyways, just so y'all know. Okay. Colts at the Falcons. Now, this is a pivotal game for the Falcons, right? Because they're trying to make that playoff, playoff push. But again, I don't see it happening. I think the Colts emerge victorious because of, I think that the Falcons are atrocious. Your quarterback room is atrocious. Between you having to bounce back and forth between Taylor Heineke and Desmond Ridder, the Colts with Gardner Minshew are firing all cylinders. Give me the Colts, man.
It's a division opponent, but looking at the Colts, they don't really. I haven't been paying attention to the Colts this year, but I think the Falcons do sneak out with a dub on that one.
Oh, taking the run game on this one then. Lions at the Vikings. Okay, this is interesting because the Vikings are struggling. I mean, the Lions offense is high powered. For me, this one's pretty easy though. Give me the Lions.
Lions as well. I don't know what Minnesota got going on. They just can't get right. So,
well, it's also because Josh Dawes and they're starting Mullins, and then of course Kirk Cousins out for the year. It's just a whole bunch of mess.
Injuries.
Yeah, it's just a mess. It's just a mess.
Yeah.
Now this is a big game that we need to focus on too for the playoff push, and that's the Jaguars facing the Buccaneers. Because right now there's no telling if Trevor Lawrence is playing either. They have had consecutive loss, so the Buccaneers are trying to capitalize on those struggles, which I see happening. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers. And the way that Baker Mayfield's playing right now, firing on all cylinders, give me the Bucs.
Same. I mean, the Bucs is at home.
Yeah,
they're not just gonna roll over to the Jaguars. It's gonna be a defensive game for the Bucs. So I think they'll run over the Jaguars.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be close, but I think the Bucs get the dub at the end of the day. Yeah. Cardinals at the Bears. So the Cardinals at the Bears. Kyler Murray trying to make something happen over there for the Cardinals, trying to make them more competitive. I think he leads them to a road victory here. I think the Cardinals get the win, and there in Chicago. Give me the Cardinals.
It's gonna be a boring game, but I'll go with the Bears on this, even though that's my brother team, and I dislike their ass like they a division team. So I'll go with the Bears on this one. I don't think Kyler is enough, and
Yeah. I feel you. I got you. Next up is the Cowboys and Dolphins. Now, this is going to be one of the week's best games, I think. Now, the Cowboys are obviously trying to rebound after that disgusting performance against the Buffalo Bills. Let's be honest. I think this is going to be a high-scoring showdown because of the two offenses. Obviously, both teams' offenses are very explosive. But I'm going to take the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are going to ruin some hype over there for the Dolphins. I'm taking the better defense, and I think that the Cowboys bounce back.
That is that's a mouthful right there. What you just said. The Cowboys do have it's been a while since they had a team. I'll be honest. They always relied on that offense. They never gave a damn about that defense. But that with Michael Parsons, dude is like I ain't seen nobody other than Luke be that way. And he's way different from Luke. So, but he's not on Luke level. But Parsons is that guy. I don't know. It's a tricky one right here. I wouldn't be surprised if they tied, but
yeah,
I gotta go with the Dolphins on this one.
All right. We got a couple finishing up here, or we got four more. Let's go with the Patriots, Broncos. Again, this is just going to be an ugly contest. Patriots are at the Broncos. I think it's just going to be an ugly contest, but I'll just take the Broncos. They're the better team.
Just another boring game. Yeah. I don't know. I'll go with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Patriots.
Yeah. All right. Gonna rock Patriots. Okay. They're you're ruining their chances of getting that higher draft pick. The Raiders at the Chiefs. I mean, considering the historical dominance, the Chiefs are expected to secure this convincing win. I mean, give me the Chiefs. I mean, this is easy.
Chiefs, they always run over the Raiders. It don't matter how many draft picks the Raiders have. So
yeah,
Chiefs.
Yeah. Giants at the Eagles. I think the Eagles have to be looking to bounce back. And if it's a game that they can bounce back in, it's definitely against the Giants. The Giants never play the Eagles well. I think they get a convincing victory over the Giants. They're hungry for a win. So give me the Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah. Yeah. Now this is interesting because this could be a potential Super Bowl preview. And that is the Ravens at the 49ers. I think this is a hot take. I think the Ravens edge out the 49ers. I think they solidify themselves as the championship contender status, and they win over the 49ers. I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to take the Ravens because I'm ready for someone to expose Brock Purdy.
Well, I don't know if the Ravens have that type of defense to expose them. I mean, Brock Purdy dinks and dunks to CMC as well. It just looked different in San Fran because they got Debo and Brandon Ayuk. But I believe it's kind of tough. If they can't stop CMC, then they got a problem.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I go San Fran. They got too many weapons.
Okay. All right, you rocking San Fran?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there it is, guys. That's one hell of a show, Jay. That was one hell of a show. I tell you, good Lord, that was a long show too. Yeah, man. Guys, thank you so much for joining the live stream. I appreciate all y'all that showed the love and support over here at the Ropp Star Report. Also, I hope that y'all did the same thing over there for Jay Issue. You make sure you go over to his channel. Make sure you pound his like button. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. Definitely we'll have Jay on again back soon. Again, Jay, any final words?
Nah, man, I appreciate it. Locking in with a Carolina true fan. So this was fun. We got much in store. We're finna lock in. So appreciate everybody for tuning in, and even the new faces. If y'all not haven't found out my channel yet, it's at JSU. Just head over there. Show that support, like the content, and just sub up. Appreciate it, Clay.
Yeah, no problem. So, guys, yeah, his link is his channel link is in the description of this live stream. So y'all can just click on it. It'll take you right to it. Okay, guys. Also, make sure y'all check out the Discord. Also, feel free to check me out on all my social media. The link tree's down below, so you can find all of that. And also, don't forget about our sponsorship of today's live stream. As always, is BetUS. So go check it out. Other than that, guys, as always, appreciate everyone that joined the live stream. And as always, guys, y'all know what to do. Keep pounding. Peace.